honey and birds fly around. I guess fate had it coming when you showed up unannounced. This way nature intended, girl, despite what I thought I knew. Yeah, baby. Well, there's 7 billion people in the world, and I'm glad I found you. Spring bringing flowers like the sun brings the moon, and magical powers. Our hearts are in bloom. This way nature intended, girl, despite what we thought we knew. Yeah, baby. Alright. Well, there's 7 billion people in the world, and I'm glad I found you. I'm glad I found you. After all this time, I'm glad I found you. After so many lonely nights, out of 7 billion people, 7 billion people, out of 7 billion people, 7 billion. I'm glad I found 7 billion people, 7 billion. I'm glad I found 7 billion people, 7 billion people, out of 7 billion people, 7 billion people, out of 7 billion people, 7 billion people, out of 7 billion people, 7 billion people out of.
You need to go on a date every week. That is your rule. That is a challenge of deciding to download Bumble. You need to go on a date every single week. And he says, okay, here I go. And he dons his white, new, credit card debt, motorcycle jacket, and he hops on his scooter and he scoots off to his date. And he comes home and he is smitten. This man is so into this woman, and he tells me she is smart and she's beautiful and she's driven, and she is Allie Williams. And he asks me if my rule of going on a new date every week counts if he goes on a new date with the same person. And I say, yeah, I don't care, go on a date. And here is to going on another date with the same girl every week for the rest of your life.
Within 6 months, we launched the Women at Santa Barbara chapter and held a tech talk that I still can't believe work funded. But before Allie, that had been my 5-year plan. So it just goes to show how impactful she is in empowering people and really telling them that whatever you want in life is yours. You just have to go and take it. And it obviously helps to have someone like her by your side. Allie's the type of partner, both professionally and personally, who is driven, intelligent, but also so supportive and understanding no matter what you do. And I think that's really what has made our relationship so strong, and I'm sure yours as well. Before Connor, I didn't know people actually ran 50 miles. And if they did, they were those like Olympians that you maybe know and hear of but never actually talk to. But getting to know him, I've just realized that there's so much in life that you have similar to Allie, and that's probably why they're the best couple ever. They show you that there's so much you can do, and all you have to do is really go for it. And so I've learned that with Connor and Allie, all you really need in life is the right mindset, a good dog, and a cheeseburger.
Allie has always taught me and us that everything is within things that you don't realize are in reach. And you can accomplish things that you don't realize that you can do. And Connor's all about consistency and actually doing things every day, in and out, and getting there. And that's what makes them so strong together, and that's what makes them so strong in our relationship as well. We all need people in our lives to show us what's within reach and how to consistently get there, and that's what's inspired life all around us. They've had a huge positive impact on us, and I know many of you as well. And that's why I'm so happy to be here tonight to celebrate all of them with you guys.
They're just two generous and loving people who have created a very harmonious and inviting life together. I always feel very much at ease and taken care of in their company. Connor runs me like a dog on a mountain trail nearby, and then Allie fills me with homemade pizza, and we all watch the Adam Sandler Halloween movie on Netflix and fall asleep. Some people have to spend their whole lives trying to figure out how to recreate the feeling of being back in the womb. But one of my favorite parts about watching Allie and Connor together is that Connor's cool ease and non-judgmental air has invited Allie's true spirit back out into the open. I see it in the way that they exist together and the way that Allie has grown into herself just in the last few years. She's a natural leader, independent and self-sufficient, all while never taking herself too seriously. She's a graceful, inventive, and nonchalant chef and a consummate host. She's all of these things and also still a wild-eyed little girl with a mullet. And it's not as simple as Connor being some kind of stoic totem of a man who passively lets Allie be who she wants to be. I did not have the pleasure of knowing Connor as a kid, but the only times I see him without a cheeky grin on his face like he's ready to tell you a very strange joke with a deadpan face is when he's deep in a game of chess or racing Roscoe up a rocky hill. Connor takes true joy in watching the way kids' minds work and engaging with them on their terms. These two have a long and joyous life together that is already well underway, and today's ceremony is just a way to publicly cement the commitment they have already begun to caring for one another and their handsomely genetically ambiguous dog. And letting the other be the most fully realized version of themselves. by the virtue of the authority vested in me as a commissioner of civil marriages for today and today only, I now pronounce you married. You may now kiss.
Thank you to the Cox family, Duncan, Marla, Ian, M, for making this trip down, but more importantly, thank you for being Connor's roots. Connor is a product of his upbringing. We're well aware of that, and he has proven himself to be so remarkable, and we're just grateful to have him now as part of our family. Over the years, we've heard him conversing on the phone with his granddad, and I know he wishes his London grandparents could be here tonight. We could not be happier to welcome Connor into our kooky fold. He is a brave soul and willing to take us on. And lastly, I applaud Allie and Connor for being thoughtful about what they want their union to symbolize. And as you know, the ceremony has been very non-traditional. And I love that because they really thought about everything, every step of the way, and what these traditions mean, and what they wanted in their union and what they wanted this ceremony to symbolize. And I just couldn't be more proud. They were so thoughtful through this whole process. And as you now know, they've chosen to blend their names together. So Williams and Cox, they are now Allie and Connor Wilcox. So cheers to Mr. and Mrs. Wilcox and Roscoe Wilcox too. And cheers to friends, family, love, and longevity.
Allie is highly self-motivated, intelligent, and organized. I get to brag on you. As an example, Allie worked in my office for 2 summers during high school and college. Within hours of beginning work in my office, Allie had determined all the inner workings of the office and was already making suggestions for improvements. She was immediately loved by her co-workers and was tied into all the best office gossip. You heard last night about Connor's foray into competitive ultra running, but you didn't hear that Connor went straight into 50-mile races without the typical sequence of shorter races leading up to a half and full marathons first. Connor is resilient, intelligent, even-tempered, patient, tolerant, all things straight from the Boy Scout handbook, which is also part of his list of accomplishments. He's an Eagle Scout, along with several of his friends who have traveled down here from Seattle, as well as my 3 brothers and his dad and his brother. Allie and Connor are both exemplary, and yet they are both far greater together. Raise your glasses. Let's toast to Allie and Connor. Cheers. Love you guys. Aww. I didn't even cry.
My sweet Al. We've always called her Amazing Allie because she can do anything and not break a sweat. The last 3 days, she's finished renovating her first home that she's bought. She's moved in, she's hosted 100 and more guests, and thrown a wedding, and looked poised and beautiful and gracious throughout. and you really can't help but want to hug her and bask in her glowing bride energy. Connor's been the chillest, warmest, wryest little demon I've ever met. I really love Connor. There's such a solidness about him. You know he'll be there when things get rough, but you can also count on his consistency throughout everyday chaos and his deadpan humor through all of the ups and downs. He is kind of my demon twin, even if he has a real-life twin. So to Allie and Connor, I'm ready for a lifetime of the three of us. And you guys look hot as hell tonight.
I love you.
I have looked up to you forever, both figuratively and literally, being the shortest member of our family, and I will always follow in your equally as impossible footsteps if anyone sees the size 12 Gucci loafers. I know you said earlier that I was the cool sibling, but I really wouldn't be able to claim that title if it wasn't for you. I remember sitting through hours of WWE wrestling, pretending I loved it just so I could have my own time with you. Everyone has always and will always just love you. You have an optimism that is practically dripping out of your fingertips, and a love of life that just makes being in your presence, even if you're across the room, the most exciting thing in the world. And it takes an equally, if not more amazing person to inspire the inspiring. Allie, the second you came into Connor's life, it was like a switch went off in his soul. The belief that Connor had for others was finally being reflected back onto him. Allie is that person who let you believe in exactly who you are and who you dreamed of being. Yeah, I've always dreamed of you as a sister with your love and support and being instant and warm the second anyone walks into a room with you. The two of you growing with each other the last few years has been inspiring to watch, and I'm endlessly grateful to know the people like you who love as kindly and as openly as you do. To the best dog parents, may you continue to play and grow together in this life and forever.
It was the Williams who captured my heart, their good cheer, their ceaseless generosity, and this thing about them that I've always found sort of downright magical, which is that they have this really effortless and joyful way of being themselves. We went for a run and we were huffing up a hill together. You know, Connor was being like the really cool coach, but he just had this implacable sense of calm, and it wasn't aloof, it was just like a deep self-assuredness that I really grew to just love in Connor. And even though I'm older than both of them, I've always, like Nick said, I've always felt really taken care of when we come and visit them. And I not only just love Allie, I really admire her. I admire her grit and her goofiness and the way she makes Ina Garten look bad, you know, like it's all of it. Connor and Allie have always made me feel seamlessly included in their new burgeoning family, and I'm guessing if you're here tonight, it's because they do the same for you. So if you wouldn't mind raising a glass to Allie and Connor Wilcox.
Connor, not only my twin brother, I can honestly say he's my best friend. Not many people can find that so soon in their lives. Connor was always the guy, first guy to jump in the freezing cold water while I'm sitting there going, I don't know if that's a good idea. But he's had this way of then bringing everyone together and bringing folks around him. Allie, the moment I met you, I remember the night, I was immediately struck by how caring and kind you were, but also how smart and driven you are. I was like, what is he doing with Allie? We're talking about, oh my gosh. So moving away from that evening, I was really pleased that you stuck around with my brother. And I immediately began to see positive changes in his life. Allie and Connor, I've seen over the last 5 years how much you deeply care and love each other, how much you support and motivate each other. And I so look forward to watching you take on life together. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. So, to Connor and Allie, Mr. and Mrs. Wilcox are now together. Cheers.
Super short and sweet, but I just wanted to thank everyone for being here tonight. This means the absolute world to us. I can't even put it into words how much it means to see all of you here. Every time I look at everyone, I want to cry. You all look amazing. I just can't believe it, and just thank you all so much for making the journey out here, for being with us tonight and last night, and this weekend has just been truly the best weekend of my life, and I can't thank you all enough. So cheers to everyone here. We love you all. Thank you so much.